I visited a lot of Python meetups over the years in different countries, but this is my first actual PyCon conference, so I'm really excited. So let me get started. So a little bit about me. My name is Attila Toth. I work as a developer advocate with a company called ScyllaDB. I've been, before ScyllaDB, I've been working either as a developer advocate or a software engineer, or sometimes I did both over the years. And I live in Budapest, Hungary, currently. Before I delve into the topic of today's presentation, I just want to give you a little bit of context about the kind of work that I do and how I found Flet, which is going to be the topic of today's presentation. So in my work, I create a lot of training material for people who want to use ScyllaDB or they are about to use ScyllaDB. And even though ScyllaDB is just a database, what I like to do is create training material that is focusing on full applications. So I've created video streaming applications in the past. Recently, machine learning has been a really hot topic. So I've been focusing on tools like Streamlit and Gradio to build machine learning apps with them. The thing with these simple applications is that I need a tool that can help me develop these applications really fast. Because sometimes I do, people ask me to do a webinar or a training, and I need to develop an application in like weeks. And it needs to work properly, and it needs to be able to demonstrate different ScyllaDB capabilities. That's kind of the challenge. That's my job that I need to do. And so over the years, I've been using a lot of different tools, mainly in Python, because that's my main language that I like to use. So I used some of these tools that you can see on the slide, Plotly Dash, Streamlit, fairly popular tools. By show of hands, how many of you have used at least one of these tools before? Yeah, almost everybody. These are really simple tools, open source mostly, and I like using them as well. There's also Next.js there, because sometimes I have to do something fancy on the front end, and even though I'm not a JavaScript person, I'm also not super pro in Next.js. Sometimes I have to do things that I don't like, but that's fine. So anyway, I've been happy with these solutions, but I also sometimes have a few wishes or requirements. So I have, I think this came up like maybe a year ago when I had like 3 wishes for a Python tool that I needed for my projects, where I need to create a web application for a training, and I need it fairly quickly. And so one of these was cross-platform, because even though ScyllaDB is a database, a lot of customers use ScyllaDB with a mobile application. So they query the database from their Android, their iOS applications. And it is obvious that you can query a database from anywhere, but I still wanted to have a way to show them that, hey, here's the web application, here's the mobile application, and both works great with our database. But obviously, I don't have time to develop, let's say I develop a fast API server, I use, I don't know, Next.js or something on the front end. I don't have time to develop a standalone Android and iOS application. Like, that just doesn't make sense. I would like to stay in Python. I would like to do it in Python because that's what I know, that's what is easy for me to do. And I want simplicity. I want things to be simple because I need to do things in a matter of days and weeks. And some of these tools that are out there in the cross-platform realm, they are more complex. And I don't want to write JavaScript code. I'm not good at it. So yeah, I want Python. So this is the point when I found Flet. And it's actually interesting how I found it. I was just searching randomly on GitHub, looking for a new solution because I wanted to do something that was not possible with Streamlit that I was using at the time. And I was searching GitHub and I couldn't find anything. And it turns out GitHub has a lot of great search functions, a lot of filters that you can set. So I basically searched for GitHub repositories on GitHub, written in Python, published in the last 2 years. And I also set a threshold for the number of stars for the repo. And the number one on the list was Flet. And I looked into it, and it was pretty much the library that I needed at the moment. So I looked into it, and I started using it. So what is Flet? So Flet is basically a Python library that allows you to build for different platforms. So you can build websites, you can build mobile applications, you can build for Mac OS, Windows, Linux, and you still code in Python. So your core project is still in Python. And also, they said it on the website that no front-end experience required. Which is great because I don't have much experience in front-end. It's also an open source project. It has an Apache 2 license, which was great because you can use it for commercial purposes as well. And one thing I didn't mention is that Flet is actually, it's Python, but under the hood it's using Flutter. How many of you have used Flutter? Okay, so some of you have used Flutter. That's great. I also use Flutter a little bit. I think it's a great tool to build for different platforms, but it takes a lot of time to develop a Flutter application, as opposed, or if you compare it to Flet. But basically, Flet is using Flutter under the hood. So just quickly, before I go into Flet specifics, just quickly cover Flutter if you have not heard about Flutter. So Flutter is also a cross-platform tool, but it's much more known. It's backed by Google. It's also open source. It's kind of in the world with React Native or Ionic frameworks. It also uses a language called Dart, which is, for me, it's a really interesting language. It almost feels like it's trying to combine Python and Java and JavaScript. It's pulling things from other programming languages. But the problem was that for me it was too slow, meaning the development to actually ship an application. It was just too much time. I pretty much covered this. And to just show you an example of Flutter code, because later I will also show you Flet code, what the differences are. So this is just a very example code from Flutter. One thing that you learn if you start using Flutter is that everything is a widget. So if you create a button, that's going to be a widget. If you create anything on the layout, that is going to be a widget. And then basically you define these widgets and then all the different attributes that tell the widget what it should look like the color, the positioning, things like that. And a thing I wanted to mention is that there is actually a package called Flet in the Flutter package repository. So if you are mainly developing in Flutter, but you want to implement Python code within your Flutter application, you can just install the Flet package and then basically have a widget within your Flutter application, and then you can execute Python within your Flutter application, which can be useful for certain use cases. So let's briefly talk about the mechanism of Flutter, how it works. So I pulled this image from their documentation. Um, the simple way to describe Flet is that it's there is a server, so it's server-based. On this diagram, they call it PGLET or Piglet. I think they say Piglet because if you say PGLET, people think it's Postgres related, but it's not Postgres related. And Piglet is actually the predecessor of Flet. So Flet is kind of a fork of Piglet, I guess. And so basically you have this server in the middle, and then this server receives the changes that happen on the UI. So if a user clicks on a button or a text needs to be changed, updated, that will be, the server will handle that request, and then based on your Python code that you wrote in Python, it will create the Flutter widgets that need to be updated on the UI. And so what the user will see is that one specific layout item or control, what they call it in Flet, that will get updated according to the program logic. So I listed a couple of items why I really like using Flet, and then we're going to do a demo. We're going to build a quick application for Android. So first of all, no front-end experience required, which is great because whenever I have to write front-end, it's not going to work. It's not going to look good. But this way, I can just write Python code, and I can create my layouts in a simple way. And as I said, the development is fairly quick. Packaging is fairly quick as well. I was surprised that I first started to use Flet. I didn't have to install a bunch of dependencies, a bunch of libraries for the packaging, because almost everything is handled by Flet when you try to create your project and when you try to package it. Another very useful capability of Flet, which was very useful for my specific use case, is that it's easy to create SPA, single-page applications in Flet, because what I like to do with my applications, because they are for training purposes, I like to put everything on one page, and then I just kind of click through all the different things that I want to show the potential user. And with Flet, it's really easy to implement this kind of these kind of apps. And then I also listed Flutter as a benefit because I also used to develop with Flutter, and I think the community is great in Flutter. Obviously, there's ongoing development backed by Google. So I think building on top of Flutter currently is probably a good idea. Oh, and yes, there's one extra feature that I really like about Flet, which is this kind of hot reload feature that they have. So you can, while you are writing your application, you can have your mobile phone in your hand, which is connected to the same Wi-Fi as your computer. And then whenever you make a change in your code, that will propagate to your mobile device pretty much instantly. So it's a really good feature, useful. All right, so we're going to do some demo. But first, I asked AI to generate an image of demo god. I will need this guy's help to make sure that my laptop doesn't crash or the Wi-Fi doesn't disconnect randomly. So hopefully the god will be supportive. All right, so with Flet, can you see that? You need to see this one, but also the terminal as well. Yes? Cool, great. So for Flet, you pretty much need Python. That's the only requirement, and then Flet will install all the other dependencies with it. I also have a virtual environment. So to install Flet, you just do pip install Flet. I already did that because I don't trust the demo god. So it's already installed, and we are going to create a new Flet project using the Flet create command. Okay, so we create a new, this will create a new directory for Flet, and this will be the structure of the directory. Fairly simple. We have a configuration file with all the different packaging details that you might have with other projects as well. We have the source folder with things like assets, so if you have images or other static files, that would go here. And then you have your main Flet application. And if you use the Flet create command, this will actually create a very simple example application with Flet. And this application will just have a text view on the screen and then basically a button to increase the number. Now, one thing that I want to show here is, or highlight here, is that I showed you previously a Flutter code example where you have a bunch of widgets, everything is a widget. In Flet, we don't call them widgets, we don't have widgets, we have what they call controls. So basically, we have a text control, which would be just an item on the layout to display text. And then you have a bunch of other these layout items in Flet. And then we also have, for example, this floating action button control, which would put a button on the right bottom of the of your application. So once you have an application like this, you can run it using the Flet run command. And if you don't specify anything else, this will use your operation system to run the application. So in my case, it's just running in a Linux or Ubuntu window, and then you can just test the application. If you want to run it in the web version, you can run it like this. You just define web as an option, and then it will start a Flet server in the background, and now you have basically the same app on the web. All right, so let's do something more complicated. So now I'm going to create a new file. I'm just going to copy-paste this code. By the way, this code sample and a lot of other more resources will be available for you on a link I share at the end of the talk. So I'm going to create a new file. We can call it example. And then in this one, we see a couple of things. So first of all, what Flet can do is it can change the styling of your application based on the device. So for example, if you're familiar with iOS development or iOS design, they have this design language called Cupertino, which is basically the iOS equivalent of material design in Google. And so Flet can make this dynamic. So if you define this attribute, if you set the adaptive value to true, this will show Cupertino icons on Apple iOS devices, and it will show material design icons on Android devices. So it's pretty useful. So let's try to build an APK, because that's one of the main reasons I wanted to use Flet, because it allows you to create an APK. Wow, 5 minutes. And you can run your Android, you can upload your APK to Google Play, for example, which was very useful for my use case. So to build an APK, it's fairly simple. you just use this command, flat build APK. I'm not going to run this because it takes like 5 minutes to build the whole thing. So I did it beforehand. And I also use a tool called Vaydroid, which is a way for Ubuntu to run Android programs in a Linux container. And so basically, this is what it looks like. And as you can see, if I go back to the code, I use Cupertino styling for this application, but this is a Google Material Design because I'm currently running just a regular Android device or operation system. And so this is the Flet application, and it works. Obviously, it doesn't do anything at the moment because this is just an example, but I just wanted to show you because if you have JDK properly installed on your machine, then it will work just like this. You run flat build APK, and then you'll be able to use use your Android application. All right, let me go back to my slides. The demo guide was very supportive, thank you. So just a quick summary. Why use Flet? So I use it because I don't have to deal with front-end code. I don't have to deal with JavaScript. It also allows me to ship products fairly quickly. Well, products, it's for training material, but I have very strict deadlines. We have a training event in 2 weeks. I need to create something interesting in 2 weeks, and Flet allows me to do that. It's very simple, yet it's flexible. So I would say Flet is much more flexible than, for example, Streamlit when it comes to the layout options, but it's still much simpler than Flutter, for example. And then what are some reasons why you would not use Flet? So as far as I know, there's no direct access to the Flutter widgets. So if you want to do something very special, very custom, I don't think there's an easy way to do that. Also, when it comes to platform-specific things like push notifications or I don't know, interacting with the Bluetooth functions of the phone, it used to be hard to do. There have been new improvements recently, which I haven't tried. I haven't had the time to try these new tools, but now they have these 2 new Python libraries available within Flet. So now you should be able to connect to the Java classes through Flet. So it should be easier now to create things like push notifications and other platform-specific functions. And yeah, if you need a more complex UI, you need something very fancy, or you need like a complex animation or something like that, Flet is probably not the best tool for that job. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, a few questions. What did you find that you cannot do with Streamlit, but you can do it with Flet, if you found something?
Well, the obvious answer is cross-platform development. So with Streamlit, I can have a website, but I cannot have an Android application, for example. And I think that was like the most important thing.
Okay, and it is possible to run in debugging mode in an emulator on your phone with Flet. So you can debug the app on the laptop while you're using it on the...
You can run, there is a Flet application in Google Play. I think it's also available on iOS. And that helps you debug your Flet application while testing it on your phone.
Okay.
If that was the question, I didn't fully
get it. I think that this is the question. I don't know. If the person that made the question wants to know more details, can raise the hand. Otherwise, we are done. Okay. Let's thank again the speaker. And just a reminder that there will be the Python quiz at 5:30 p.m. Okay? Thank you again.
Thank you.